Now, what's going to happen now, do you think?
Well, they deserve every penny for what they've been paid tonight for that.
Just take a look at this. I can't believe this is going to happen. They're going to set the man on fire.
Oh, no.
Local stuntman Alan Brucherie is coated in kerosene and he's now set alight. And the ball will now be delivered to the centre spot.
Great balls of fire.
Somebody had to say it, and it might as well be you.
You said it was bizarre. It is.
Well, spectacular is the word. Paris Saint-Germain, the venue, and the Charleroi Stadium. He's all right. There's no problems for Alan Brucherie, and now they will douse the flames. And we can now welcome the teams into the arena. Out come the Bradford Bulls. Well, how about that? That is certainly one of the most spectacular effects leading up to kick-off that we have seen. But it's now all about Super League, and Bradford Bulls have got their proud 100% record on the line here. 167 points scored. They are the entertainers. 82 conceded, that is all. 27 tries, and their top tackler, well, who else but James Lowe's their hooker, and Robbie Paul, their inspirational captain, is the man who makes all the big meters down the middle. 141 meters average per game. That's why the Bradford Bulls, 2 weeks before Wembley, remember, have turned out over the channel here in their numbers. Now, the French supporters await the arrival of Paris Saint-Germain, and out they come through the avenue of fireworks. The new team in the French capital, led by David O'Donnell, but with just the one victory behind them and 5 matches they have lost. Finding scoring points a bit of a problem, but they do tend to ship them in at the other end. 17 tries they have scored, and their top tackler, look out for him, David O'Donnell, the hooker, wearing 9, and Dion Bird, the man wearing number 1, who gains 133 metres average per game in Super League 2. Let's take a check on the two sides. Fabian Devecchi is the fullback. Bergman is the winger. Olsznik, Bird in the centres. Tony Wall on the other flank. Jeremy Robinson and Matt O'Connor on his home Super League debut. The forwards, Joe Taylor, David O'Donnell, Tony Priddle, Wayne Singh, Michael Hogue and David Lomax. And on the bench, Troy Bellamy, Nick Hyde, James Durkin and Adam Peters. Coach Peter Mulholland. Now the league leaders. Stuart Spruce at fullback, Paul Cook, Danny Peacock, Paul Loughlin, Abby Ikoku, Robbie Paul and Glenn Tomlinson. The forwards, Jeff Wittenberg, James Lowes, Tahi Rihana, Bernard Dwyer, Graham Bradley second row, Steve McNamara comes back to the side. On the bench, Nathan Graham, Paul Medley, Paul Anderson, Simon Knox, the coach, Matthew Elliott. And our match referee is John Connolly. We're just about ready for the start of this match. Bradford into the game on the back of their first league win at Wigan for 9 years. We are underway here at the Charleroi Stadium. Paris Saint-Germain have got the biggest of mountains to climb here on their home ground. That's Dion Bird, who gets it to the 20-metre line. David O'Donnell, their captain, goes in at dummy half. And that was Michael Hogue. He takes the tackle. That now is Tony Wall, the winger, who has already drifted infield, off the flank, looking for the work down the middle. Priddle will take the ball up once again. They're still just inside their own half of the field. The field here at Charleroi showing a little wear and tear.
A little bit too long there by the standoff, Jeremy Robinson. He will not be happy with that. Build the confidence, make sure that the first kick gets in and around the in-goal area so that the chasers can at least put the Bradford player down.
So Bradford now with the ball in their arms for the first time. That's Abi Ikoku. James Lowes gets the pass away. And that's Jeff Wittenberg, the big prop forward, on his full debut for Bradford Bulls. Tahi Rihanna now, formerly with Perth Western Reds under Peter Mulholland, of course. Oh, and a mistake from McNamara, drops the ball, unforced error, and Paris have it back.
Very lackadaisical there by the loose forward. You could see that he's taking his eyes off the football, looking at the man that was coming in to tackle him. Well, that will not please their coach, Matthew Elliott, who is a stickler for making sure that they keep possession.
Good tackle by Rihanna on Priddle, and Robbie Paul was in there also. Another good drive from this Paris Saint-Germain side. They are midway now inside the Bradford Bulls half of the field. Good tackling, Wittenberg in there quickly. The ball goes to the air, high hanging kick. Cook is underneath it, catches it cleanly in the in-goal area, does well.
Defused the bomb. Certainly was a big kick. Really did get some height there, Matt O'Connor.
Matthew Elliott, the Bradford Bulls coach, watching from the stand here at Charlotte, watching his side defend this 100% record, knowing that it's a long time since they last topped the table at the end of the season, 1980-81.
A mile.
Well, play on.
Deary me, you could see with the angle of the pass there from Bradley, it must have been at least a yard and a half. Well, Ikoku didn't do much with it, as it turned out. You see he gets pushed off. He was not stopped, even though the man made the first tackle. He was not held down, still moved away.
Well, he was forced into touch by Dion Bird, but that was a forward pass.
Well, he couldn't have come at a better place, could it really? Right on the line, you could see quite clearly.
Now Tony Wall again.
Interesting selection with his Paris side. We saw last week Dion Bird in fine form. He's been playing full back, and it's obvious that Peter Mulholland, the Paris Saint-Germain coach, wanted to bring Bird into the action a little bit more, and he's now playing in the centres with Fabian De Vecchi. He'll be at full-back tonight.
This, meanwhile, is Wayne Singh, inaugural winner of the North Queensland Player of the Year award in 1995. A lot of talent in this Paris side. Robinson now showing some of that. They've got a two-man overlap out wide. They could be in here. Tremendous run, but what a tackle from Stuart Spruce on Matt O'Connor.
Well, tremendous break there by the two halfbacks. First of all, Jeremy Robinson, and Matt O'Connor, the little halfback, came across. But Stuart Spruce, who really is one of the best defenders, came right across. Good position, but that will lift their confidence. Spruce had to be alert there. Some feeble tackling by the Bradford defence on the blind side.
Well, Stuart Spruce with the tackle. Matt O'Connor, who made his debut in Super League at Oldham last week, taking the ball over the line. And so that's why Bradford have the head and feed. This now is McNamara. Good tackling, though, by Dion Bird again, and David O'Donnell in there quickly. Little pat on the back for Bird from his captain. That's a good challenge, too, but Rihanna does well to keep the ball alive. Tomlinson, long looping pass, almost bounced in front of Danny Peacock, but he did well to hang on to it. Tackled, though, by Lomax. 5 minutes gone, still 0-0, but Paris showing that they're not going to lie down here and die against the league leaders.
That's the first run from the hooker Lowes. So important to this Bradford side. He makes valuable metres forward.
Robbie Paul gets the pass away to Paul Loughlin, and Loughlin puts boot to ball on the last tackle. High kick, underneath it is Tony Wall. He spins away, but Bradley is there to haul him down.
A nothing kick, really. Paul Loughlin under a lot of pressure, but taken well by Wall. Well, things not going too well for the Bradford side. Usually a lot more organised than that, especially in the kicking department. Got plenty out there that can take control. Robbie Paul and, of course, Glenn Tomlinson.
And the referee has got Bradford offside. He pointed to Wittenberg and to Tomlinson. He told them to stay out, but they went in and closed in for the tackle, and so he pulled them for the offside decision.
Moving off the mark as well, and you can see that they'd gone in front of the official, John Connolly. Quite happy to give the penalty. Well, they look somewhat lethargic, do the Bulls, so far.
It's been a bright start from Paris Saint-Germain. That's a good scampering run from Bergman. Quick play the ball, and Bradford could be stretched here. That's O'Donnell. He gives it to Priddle. Priddle up the middle, looking for the line, and it's cue the music here at the Charleroi Stadium. The disco effect, roaring the ball, the Paris Saint-Germain side on, but they've dropped the ball.
Well, a good chance there.
Olsnik thought he was over the line, but he's been brought back.
See Lomax trying to get the ball out wide, and Olsnik takes the pass, but did it touch Cook? Well, it certainly came off the feet, and the sent to Olsnik. Now this is Lomax getting, this is Priddle, sorry, getting very close to the situation. That'll be a good tackle from Rihanna, very low. Well, this Bradford defence just asleep at the moment.
Lachlan, good ball out wide to Ikoku. Ikoku gets away from his marker, passes it back inside to Bradley. Bradley is obviously the danger man as far as Michael Hogue is concerned. McNamara back in the side. A lot of people thought that McNamara would be out of this Bradford side until maybe even after Wembley, but it's a huge boost for the Bulls that he's back here tonight.
Well, he's the architect. He loves nothing better than to send the ball out wide.
Lowe's lovely run. Still going Lowe's. Good tackle from O'Donnell on his opposite number. 61 metres made by Bradford this set. Tomlinson will put the boot to the ball again. He's looking for the runners out wide. That was well claimed, though, once again by Tony Wall, and he has certainly seen plenty of the ball in the opening 8 minutes here. Wall, a try at Oldham last week, and against Sheffield on day one. And I understand there's some news coming from the pitch, so let's go down touchline and join Bill.
Early problem for PSG. Phil Bergman, their influential back, is limping, and already Dave Mullet, the assistant coach, has been on a couple of times to see how he is. So is Vincent Meunier, the physio, and at the moment Bergman is carrying on, but if Bradford spot that he is limping, then PSG could have problems.
Yes, Bergman is obviously in a little discomfort, but staying on the field so far. Danny Peacock, he knocked the ball forward, but the referee playing first knock on against the Paris player who was dumped to the ground by a two-man tackle. Tackle then on Paul was completed standing up. This is Wittenberg. He gets the pass away. It's good scrambling defence from this Paris Saint-Germain side so far, but now what can Bradford do here with McNamara? That looked a little high, but no, the referee has pinned them for offside right in front of the posts.
Matt O'Connor, the swinging arm, but according to the referee John Connolly, quite happy that this is the key to the Bradford side. They realise that they're being shut down, so the long ball out wide, you can see that they were offside. Well, quite a bit of relief for this Bradford Bull side. Well, I must say, Ed, he looked out of sorts, extremely lethargic. Let's not take anything away from the Paris defence. They're moving up extremely quickly.
Well, this maybe could be just a moment for Steve McNamara to settle them down. 19 goals in Super League already. He needs 7 points, by the way, for 100 this year already. That's 100 points, of course. He gets 2 more, and the Bradford Bulls lead Paris Saint-Germain by 2 points to 0. But I'm with you, Steve-O. This doesn't look like, so far, a typical Bradford Bulls performance.
I'm sure the message is going out by Matthew Ellett to make sure. We saw there on that play where the penalty was given that man about to restart the game, the loose forward McNamara, will play out wide. He loves nothing better than that. They'll have to keep an eye out for him. He really is one of the best passers of the football in the Super League.
Taylor was driving the ball in. Bergman is carrying on, soldiering on through the pain of an obvious injury. And that was Michael Hogue again. Bradford know all about him. He was with them pre-season and joined Paris from the Bradford Bulls when they decided to let him go. kick downfield. Good kick too, and finds touch. O'Connor, just the right side of the corner flag.
Taking the responsibility, we saw last week that it was Jeremy Robinson who was in the kicking department, but good kick by Matt O'Connor.
Well, I'm sorry, Steve, he's a former Wallaby Rugby Union star, O'Connor. He was an Aussie representative in 1994, so I suppose with background like that, he will be a good kicker of the football.
Well, of course, without being rude to our neighbours. They do know how to kick in rugby union.
Later score coming in from the Stoop, and London are off to a flyer. They lead Salford Reds by 12 points to 0. That's the latest score after 10 minutes. And Josh White and Sean Edwards, the try scorers for London Broncos, I hear. So going very well for London, going all right so far for Bradford Bulls, but Paris giving them a real hard battle of it here, and Bradley went without the football there. Bergman has got the ball back for Paris.
Well, it was poor play by Glenn Tomlinson. Heavy situation, there was no way they could get that ball away.
Penalty now for Paris. Interference from Wittenberg at the play the ball. Little use of the elbow too is the signal from John Connolly.
Well, the ruling is that once you've made the tackle, you must release the man, roll away. You cannot lay a finger, not even a little finger, it doesn't matter. The rule states now that you cannot touch the man playing the football in any shape or form.
So it's a chance here then for Jeremy Robinson. Kicked 3 out of 5 against Salford when we saw them on Easter Monday, and 3 from 4 last week, including a touchline effort that could have won the game. But Robinson now from this range surely can level matters up for Paris Saint-Germain. And he's missed it. That could be a costly miss come the end of the day.
You can see the disappointment on his face.
Kicks like that, Steve-O, should go over. That would have given Paris such a lift.
My word, and you can see the disappointment etched all over the face of Robinson. But a let off for the Bulls.
That was well claimed from the deep dropout. It was Fabien Devecchi, the man named at fullback. David Lomax takes the second tackle. David O'Donnell was the dummy half. This is Joe Taylor, out for the last couple of matches, substituting the 4 before that.
That was a good switch to the blind, but tremendous defence there. Robbie Paul's getting through an immense work in the defensive department.
Last tackle, and they're 20 metres out. Little kick to the corner, and there's space here for them to exploit. Ikoku is after it though, and Ikoku, under pressure from Bird and from Phil Bergman, is able to just to let the ball run dead.
Nice option. Sliding defence of Bradford was caught short, but full credit to Abi Ikoku, who shepherded all the way into the corner. Just a little bit too strong. Quite a bit of a breeze blowing within the stadium, and I must say that the advantage appears to be with the Paris side at the moment, but it's such a big stadium, it swirls out there.
That was good play from Bergman to Tomlinson, and that's a big hit by Priddle on McNamara. McNamara felt that. Welcome back to Super League. Rihanna takes the next tackle now. That's the 4th. They've made 33 metres, and it's been Paris 60-40 in terms of possession, and that's not the best pass.
Well, that should go back to 6. I felt the Paris player got the fingertips to it.
No, referee John Connolly says this is the last, and this is Abi Ikoku. Oh, what a great take. Great take by Devecchi, claimed that out of the sky.
Well, it was good thinking by Ikoku, who made the break, realised that there was no one at home. The full-back, Fabien Devecchi, was, as you could see, very close indeed. But what a wonderful take. There was no one at home. Good job he took it.
So here comes Priddle again for Paris Saint-Germain, who have lost their 2 home games so far against Leeds and St Helens. Now they are facing a 3rd title-chasing side, but in the opening 16 minutes, they have acquitted themselves pretty well. Oh, that's interception from Paul Cook. And Cook has got the legs on Devechi, and Cook's going to get a strolling try. Paul Cook cuts in field, gets it down behind the posts, and that's a gift, and a gift that Paul Cook accepts gratefully. The ball was going out wide, Cook read the situation perfectly, plucked it out of the air, and it was try time.
You have to take the chance, and he took it. You can see that it was plenty around him. Lomax got the ball out wide. Devechi couldn't get anywhere near him. Devechi had moved up from the full-back position to join in to the three-quarter line to attack. There was no one at home. And I must say that Paul Cook took the big gamble. And off he went. Good run, though, by Paul Cook. But not the best pass by Jamie Olejnik under a lot of pressure. And you can see there, Robbie Paul was in attendance. Olejnik threw the ball behind him. And you can see that Devechi had moved up, wanting to join into the three-quarter line, not anticipating the intercept. But full credit to Cook. He showed a lot of pace to go around the fullback. You take your chances. That was a good try.
He was the England international, and that try has taken him beyond 500 points for his career. McNamara gets another 2 from bang in front. Kicks like that and meat and drink to a man of McNamara's quality. Bradford Bulls lead by 8 points to 0.
There you see, he's passing the ball with his back to the defence. It's always a blind situation. They tell you at a very tender age not to do that. It is always a gamble. Never pass the football with your back to the defence. Otherwise, you can be paying the price. And they've done just that.
Well, Paul Cook was the man who kicked goals for Bradford at Wigan last week because Steve McNamara was out of the side. Now he's on the score sheet with 4 points for that try. Bradford ahead, 8 points to 0. Suicide pass really from Jamie Olejnik, and gratefully accepted by Paul Cook, who's battling away and pressing for a Wembley place, former Academy international, of course. That's good tackling by Rihanna, gets a pat on the back from Bernard Dwyer.
Well, it's the attention of Robbie Paul that came in to Olejnik that forced him into that position. He's working overtime in the defensive department. That's a beautiful kick.
Great kick. Paul is trapped in goal. He's got to take a risk. He's given it to Stuart Spruce, his full back. Spruce has slipped, but he's done well. He's got the ball back into the field of play.
Good work by the full-back, Stuart Spruce. He went back and made sure that he could help out the colleague. Just shows you the team spirit and effort that they really work hard, the Bradford Bulls, at the moment. Cook decided that he could get the ball away. He knew he was caught inside. Spruce did well. Dived over the whitewash. That's all you need. Make sure the football is in the field of play.
Well, he hasn't missed a Super League match since he arrived from Widnes, Stuart Spruce. And I think it's safe to say he's probably the #1 full-back in the game just now. Bradley. It was a lovely long ball from Robbie Paul. He gets the pass out wide to Peacock. Good tackle. Great tackle from Olejnik. That was a try-saver, because the Paris defence was stretched. Good kick down the line.
Good work by Bradley. Gave himself plenty of space on the blind side. And we saw from that previous movement that obviously the message from Mathioli, the coach, has got out to them. Look, there's no point in wasting your time down the middle. Quite a big pack of the Paris 6. Let's get the ball out wide. And there's the man, I'm sure, who have got the message out there. Don't mix it, don't match it, just get it out wide. We've got the speed.
Well, as per normal, he's watching from a high vantage point here at Charlton, passing the instructions down to Brian Noble and company on the bench. And no doubt those instructions will be passed on to the players on the field eventually. Meanwhile, Paris started brightly and have a penalty, but find themselves trailing 8 points to 0. Peacock's limping badly.
Interference at the play of the ball. You can see Peacock did not release the player. Only a couple of seconds. Maybe he'll be claiming that he did his best. He was injured.
So on halfway, Paris come again. That's Bergman. He seems to have shrugged off that injury. They'll want him out there. Remember the hat-trick he scored on Sky Sports at Salford on Easter Monday. Joe Taylor, the big prop forward. O'Donnell involved in everything, the Paris captain. That was O'Connor. That was a good ball. And this is Olsenick again.
Good work there by the Paris side. They used a dummy run as well. They used two of them. Ball going behind in the second phase of attack.
Hogue does well, keeps the movement going. That's Wall. Oh, and Dion Bird went without the football.
Well, you saw another dummy runner there. Goes through, and Dion Bird just overrun it. All that good work gone to waste. See, Tony Priddle was the man used as the dummy runner. Well, they're working hard, but they've got nothing to show for it as yet.
Dion Bird, who has made such an impressive start to the season, but not on that occasion. Abbey Okokyu again now. The word apparently from Matthew Elliott to the touchline is that they're looking a little bit sluggish. I think he wants them to increase the pace. They might here now. That's good tackling this time from Dion Bird, but he had a second snap at him. Tried to get out the way, lifted the arms after the second touch. Penalty.
Well, McNamara milked it, but you could see he definitely had the hand in there. Bit of Academy Award there from McNamara. They get what they needed, the penalty.
Paul Anderson has replaced Wittenberg.
Well, I think he's brought
There he is, he's straight in.
I think he's brought Anderson out just to shake the feathers of some of the players out there. If you're not going to do it, I'll substitute you. It's one way of lifting the side.
Rihanna, quick play the ball to Lowe's. This is Tomlinson. Robbie Paul on a diagonal run. He finds McNamara. McNamara, though, all wrapped up. Good tackling there by Jeremy Robinson. Robbie Paul again. Robinson in there quickly. So too Joe Taylor. Lowe's to Tomlinson. He gives it to Anderson. Big man using his strength. Priddle complaining. He got an elbow in the face from Anderson. John Connolly unimpressed. McNamara. Loughlin went without the ball.
Looked a forward pass anyway.
Yes, the referee has got that. And it's the turnover. It's on the last tackle.
See, just a little bit forward of the big centre Loughlin. Well, things not working out for the Bradford Bulls. Oh, what a big hit. Anderson really put the shoulder into the big 17. Michael Hogue felt that. That was one big hit. Oh, Rahana was down low, and the big sub Anderson. Oh.
He is Wall once more, and I notice that Paul Medley is waiting to come in to the action, and I think it's McNamara. There he is in the tackling with Anderson, who will be the man to come off. And they're after more urgency on the field, and Medley will certainly provide it, but that's a lovely kick downfield from O'Connor again.
Beautiful kick, got the right bounce, just kicked away to the right at the important moment.
Well, Matt O'Connor, a knee reconstruction had sidelined him for 6 months. He's back now in Super League, and Medley is also back. He has come off the bench to replace Steve McNamara. And if anyone can shake them up, Paul Medley can.
Well, he's done it all season so far. You don't call him super sub for nothing.
This is a remarkable record off the bench, Medley. Substituted man of the match in the Cup semi-final against Leeds. And he was substitute and impressive again last week.
Well,
forward pass.
Given a forward pass for that one, and that looked okay for mine. Oh, what was wrong with that? You could see that, well, Tomlinson's foot was on the whitewash, and Peacock was a yard behind it. Oh, well, we live and learn these days, Eddie.
Angles, Steve-O, that's what it is. Angles of view.
Pythagoras and all that, eh?
Absolutely. Dion Bird is the dummy half for Paris.
Still, referee John Connolly is from Wigan, so they know all about pies, don't they?
Oh, that was an old one. This is Joe Taylor. To within 8 metres of the line. O'Donnell, dummy half again. O'Connor, Bird again goes without it. Second time in, I think, successive attacks.
Well, the chances is there, and on the second occasion, Dion Bird is just in front of the ball. Again, we see the Paris Saint-Germain side. They do so much good work, get to a point, and then cannot apply the pressure.
Steve-O, we've hexed him. We've hexed him. He hardly made handling error the last 2 times we've seen him. And he's come up with 2 now here. David O'Donnell, meanwhile, penalised for infringing at the play of the ball, pushing away as the man gets to his feet.
Well, we spoke about it before the game, that one of the biggest problems for the Paris Saint-Germain side is that their discipline is bad.
He knows that. Peter Mulholland, their coach. Not a happy man, is he?
Well, they should have been in a position where they're really applying the pressure. What do? They give away a silly penalty. At a time, really, when you can see that Bradford are not zipping around like they normally do.
They are now with Tomlinson. That's good play from him, and he keeps the ball alive. Rihanna, who started this move. Paris have made 6 missed tackles in the opening 26 minutes. That's far too many. Bradford examining their defence once again. Lowe's is the dummy half. Into the arms of Robbie Paul. He misses one out and finds Bradley. Nowhere for Bradley to go, so he comes back this way to Paul Loughlin. Priddle and O'Donnell combine.
What they need is one of the big forwards running with power forward. Like that.
Bernard Dwyer. Not the biggest forward, but certainly one of the most powerful. That's Lowe's, and he gets over from dummy half. They were dozing, Paris Saint-Germain. Dozing in defence, and Lowe's, his smile says it all. It's his 3rd try this year.
Only the 2nd time he's run from dummy half. He chooses the power play, runs on the last tackle. He really is in fine form. Watch him throw the little dummy and then the step. You can see they went through. David Lomax was the first man to take the dummy, and his strength took him over. In great form, the hooker Lowe's. Half a chance, no doubt about plonking the ball down.
Well, he likes the Charlotte Stadium. He got 2 tries here last year in the victory over Paris Saint-Germain, and 1 here now tonight. Every time they get over the line, either side, we get the disco at Charlotte. They love to build the atmosphere here. Change of kicker for Bradford. Steve McNamara is off, and so Paul Cook comes on to do the kicking. Ball's fallen off the little tee, so referee John Connolly will hold the clock up. Well, they know all about getting things going at Odsal, don't they? LA Bulls. They've even made their banners for the French trip. The Bradford Bulls supporters travel far and wide these days to watch their team. Team of entertainers. Best scoring record in the game. Oops. Paul Cook's having a nightmare. There is a little bit of a breeze, as Steve-O mentioned earlier, blowing round this ground. Swirling obviously down at pitch level. 3rd time lucky. Patience is a virtue. The stuttering style from Paul Cook. It's effective enough, though. 14-0, Bradford Bulls lead. It might not be the most convincing start they've ever made, but 14-0 nonetheless.
They can see one defender going backwards, facing the man that's playing the football. The other defender very slow to coming to it, and it was all so easy for the hooker. Run on the power play. He really is in tremendous form, James Lowe's.
Well, his try, he is one player that we haven't hexed tonight. We've already mentioned that there probably isn't a more effective player running round in Super League, but we appear to have done something to Dion Bird as Joe Taylor withdraws and Adam Peters comes on. Prop or 2nd row. Peters, well, number 27.
Peter Mulholland trying to ring the changes as he realises that Bradford's coach, Matthew Ellett, did just that. One of them there making the tackle, Paul Anderson, of course, bringing on Paul Medley. And they've gone up a gear since they both came on. They're showing the way.
But appealing for a penalty from John Connolly, none forthcoming. Bernard Dwyer wouldn't get off the ground in player, they claimed. Ball runs touching goal. Stuart Spruce watching it all the way.
Just a little bit too long there from Matt O'Connor. He got a situation there where he was a little bit too strong there. Stuart Spruce watched it all the way.
Well, Bradford ahead after half an hour, 14-0, and they will remember that they won here 27 points to 14 last August, one of 8 away wins in a row in Super League. Another penalty against Paris.
Well,
high swinging arm.
They're losing the plot, aren't they?
Peters, he's just on.
Substitute comes on, tries to lift them. You see it went straight into the neck. The big fella, Paul Anderson, who really has made an impact since he arrived.
They keep the ball alive again, the Bulls. Robbie Paul saw a little gap. It was quickly closed down by Michael Hogue. Now Medley trying to swat Priddle away.
Well, Bradford really would do better if they give themselves a little bit more room, if they stood back a couple of meters and then started running onto the football. They're very flat at the moment.
Here's Bradley, tries to sidestep his way around Matt O'Connor, and with Peters, the two of them combine and put a straight boot in the face there, and Bradley eyeball to eyeball with them. Whoops, a little bit of argy-bargy between Bradley and number 25, O'Connor. O'Connor's down. The ball has broken though, and that's Wayne Singh looking for support. There it is. This is Olsnick, and Olsnick's on his way to the corner. He's got the legs on Loughlin, and Olsnick gets a great try. The ball went to ground, Paris swooped, and they get up the other end, and listen to the cacophony of noise that echoes around Charlotte whenever they get over for the try. Oh, they love it here. Jamie Olsnick.
The big centre, Jamie Olsnick, gave away a try, but it was good work by Singh, who knows that he does not have the legs. Back on the inside, and Olsnick, the big centre, raced through. Beautiful balance there. Look at the legs pumping. Carries the ball in the left arm so that any chance Loughlin got near, he could fend with the right. Not the best kick from Tomlinson. It took an eternity to get to it. Wayne Singh, that's classed as a charge down. It came off his feet anyway. Look at the centre, set sail, nothing was going to stop him. Good balance running. Tremendous stuff. Paris Saint-Germain are back in this match.
Jamie Olsnick, the 1991 Aussie Schoolboy International, one of an outstanding side that made that trip to Great Britain. Great kick from the touchline, that's got chances. It's just faded. Robinson was so close, but Paris back in the hunt, 14-4.
Short little kick from Tomlinson, but Stuart Spruce is not in position. So it was a clear run, but good thinking by the big second row, Wayne Singh. He was having a fine season. He realised that Tomlinson had got back, and he realised that he didn't have the speed. This man did. Loughlin tried hard to get into him, but he was beaten into the corner.
Well, that will lift the Paris spirits. Just less than 6 minutes to go to half-time here, and Rihanna is surrounded by 3 red, white and blue jerseys, and he's still making progress on his hands and knees. Here's Medley. Good tackle on Medley. Anderson driving it up towards the halfway line. Ball was dropped, and it's a knock-on, although Tomlinson picked the ball up way, way behind Anderson then.
You could see he lost control. Well spotted by the referee, John Connolly. Good tackle there. Michael Hogue went low, and you'll see that he loses control. That's fine refereeing by John Connolly.
That's a good call. Robinson waits for the support to arrive. It's Lomax. He is grounded on the halfway line.
They were not going to be kidded by that. You could see how the Bradford defence just held back. They were not going to be sucked into the runaround.
That's a better run from Dion Bird.
All the dummy runners. Oh, that's a swinging arm from Bradley. Surely that was punched out with 2 men.
Play on.
In attention to the man carrying the football. There's Bradley punching the ball clear.
It's Robbie Paul now. Well watched by Peters. Lowe's to Tomlinson. Misses out Rihanna and finds Stuart Spruce. Spruce dumped to the ground but still gets the pass away to Rihanna. Penalty. Using the elbow.
Whilst carrying the football. There you see it. Raised straight into the face of Matt O'Connor.
Dangerous that.
Well, trying to fend him off. But you can see the hooker, David O'Donnell, just gave him a little pat on the head with a swinging arm. Referee John Connolly had already given the penalty. Well, a great opportunity now just before the half-time break. Paris can score here now. It really will lift their spirits.
Chances then for De Vecchi. Every time Paris attack, we get the noise, and this is why. Brittle on a good run. Good tackle though by Lowe's, that was. Danger here again for Bradford. Can you hear us over this noise? Well, maybe the noise is even putting David Lomax off his stride.
Well, it wasn't the best pass, was it, from Matt O'Connor? Always going low. And Lomax perhaps would have been better suited to have let that bounce first.
They've had chances though, Steve, haven't they? They've built well, and then at the last minute they either drop the ball, they knock on, or they go without it.
Well, they become their worst enemy, haven't they? We mentioned before, all the way through this first half, that their approach work is good. They're working hard and frittering away their chances. I'm sure that's one thing that will be highlighted in the talk from the coach, Matthew Elliott.
That is Robbie Paul with that run. 10 metres inside the Paris half of the field he got to then. This is Anderson again. Good run from Anderson. Good strong stuff, and it took O'Donnell and also Peters to bring him down. Tomlinson, that's a good ball to Medley. Well watched by the Paris defence. Lowe's to Bradley.
Well, we haven't seen the bomb yet from the Bulls. Will it come now? No, they're running the power play again.
Lowe's jinking to the line.
He's lost
Stretches out the hand, but he lost it. The referee, John Connolly, saw the knock-on. No try.
That'll be on the last, and you can see that he lost control, even if it was knocked out by the fullback, Fabian De Vecchi. There's only one man to him. Well, that's the second occasion that the hooker Lowe's has gone on the power play on the last.
And someone is going to the blood bin. It's Paul Anderson. Paul Anderson only just on as a substitute. Now he has to go on because he's caught one above the left eyebrow. So he goes off, and Jeff Wittenberg, the man he replaced, comes on.
Bit of claret. They don't come much better in this country, do they? Especially in Paris. Oh, what a big hit. Bernard Dwyer lined him up, and Michael Hogue got it.
Offside against Paris. Or was it a forward pass? It was a forward pass. I misread John Connolly's signal.
Well, hard to see from that angle.
Well, I mentioned the angles earlier.
Tony Priddle maybe just overrun it.
That didn't look forward, though, did it? Not from here.
For mine, but... And again, Paris. Well, they're making so many errors.
Well, they have a minute now to hold on, but Peacock fancies ball. Oh, he went without the ball. It was good shepherding out wide. And it's Oljanik.
Got his fingers to it. Knocked it back. Now then, that's interesting. It really came off a Paris player. That should have been a dropout from underneath the post, surely.
The touch judge signalled for the tap on the 20-metre line.
That was a forward as well. Well, they're running a tightrope. They're delaying the pass from the dummy half. The man's getting very close to being in front of the man passing the football.
Half a minute of this first half remaining. Paris trying to conjure something up before the half-time siren. Bird with a pass round the corner, risky. It's 6 to go though as O'Donnell collects the loose ball. Tomlinson couldn't wheel it in. So here they come again now. This now is Lomax. Lomax tosses the ball round the corner, keeping it alive brilliantly, Paris. This is Wall. Wall back on the inside. De Vecchi out wide. Oljanik. Second try, Oljanik. Brilliant try, Paris Saint-Germain. magnificently. Right on the stroke of half-time, Jamie Olsznik comes up with one of the best we've seen.
You'll have to go a long way to see one better than this. Beautiful play to keep the ball alive. Oh, superb work there. Back on the inside by Tony Wall. He threw the dummy. Cook didn't know which way to go. Then on the outside, look how they brought Cook in there. And Olsznik. Well, what a game he's having. That was a superb team try from the high shot. Look how the dummy. Lomax got a beautiful ball out wide. Continue on. Great play back on the inside there. And Tony Wall did it all. Look how he threw the dummy. Cook Rahana went through. The fullback, Devechi, headed on to the centre. That is just outstanding rugby league football.
2 tries in 8 minutes from Jamie Olsznik and Paris Saint-Germain. And Jeremy Robinson now has the most important kick of this match so far. It's time up at this first half, and this could really put Paris back in with a big, big save. Robinson knows the importance of it too. He swings it in just wide of the post. But 8 points to 14. Bradford lead at half-time. Robinson has missed with 3 kicks, but Jamie Olsznik with 2 tries in 8 minutes up to half-time has resurrected this match for Paris. Abby Yakoku and company, I think, are on the way into a real ear-bashing from their coach Matthew Elliott. They have looked so out of sorts, but take nothing away from the fight back from Paris Saint-Germain. They were cruising when Cook went over for this try. At half-time, though, it's all to play for. We'll look back at the first half when we return. Stay with us here on Sky Sports.
A top-secret satellite with nuclear capabilities. A team of international terrorists. There's only one problem.
Any other heroes?
The cook from Under Siege is back.
I'm not even a good cook, but there are some things I'm good at.
Last time he rocked the boats.
Yes, there is.
This time, the sky's the limit.
Take cover!
Steven Seagal is under pressure in Under Siege 2, the British TV premiere, 10 o'clock Saturday on the Movie Channel. The action blockbuster Under Siege 2 is just one of over 30 film premieres on Sky's 3 great movie channels in April. Call 0990 10 20 30 and we'll switch you on.
The next time business takes you to the United States, go with someone who will welcome you into their own home. American Airlines. Fly with us to nearly 200 cities. After all, no one knows the United States like someone who calls it home. American Airlines, something special in the air.
Finest mozzarella, chopped garlic, Sicilian oregano, and that's just the free garlic bread with every special pack of San Marco pizzas.
Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers.
Let's stay here all weekend.
Only one hover mower squeezes this much grass into this much space for even fewer emptyings.
Now, the leader of the old El Paso party.
People, the time has come to unite under one party. The old El Paso party. Time to get back to basics. Authentic flour tortillas, new cooking sauce, sizzling chicken. These are the values that bring people together. Central to our vision of a united people. The fajita is in your hands. Vote Old El Paso. Join the party.
Oh, no. How am I going to sort this lot out? Don't worry, Mr. Jones.
All these other insurance companies.
We'll do all that.
I'll have to take a day off going around garages getting estimates.
No, leave that to us.
But we still have to get it picked up.
No, we'll get it picked up. No problem.
When do we have to come and get it?
Don't worry. We'll deliver it back for you.
I wonder if it'll be...
cleaned inside and out and looking like new.
Well, it certainly looks good.
It's better than that, Mr. Jones. All the work is covered by a 3-year guarantee.
For easy, low-cost motor insurance...
Better talk direct. To Direct Line.
Coming up on Sky Sports, 2 world title fights from Louisiana. Frank Lyles defends his WBA super middleweight title, and Bernard Hopkins defends his IBF middleweight crown. Sky Sports 1, Sunday at 8:30 in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But right now we have quite a good match going on here at the Charlotte Stadium. Paris against Bradford, and a good match because Jamie Olsznik's come up with 2 cracking tries in the final 8 minutes of that first half. They trail by 14 points to 8, courtesy of Cook and Lowe's and McNamara with 2 goals and Paul Cook with the boot. But my word, that try from Olsznik right on the stroke of half-time has really made this into a match now, and we think that's probably one of the best tries that we have seen all season. Paris were really... they were helping their own downfall, weren't they? Making silly errors, but then they come back and score a try like that. Jason Martin of Paris is our special guest on the show tonight. Jason, you will have been as frustrated as anyone for 32 minutes. But what about those 2 tries?
Definitely, it shows that we can, the Paris side can get itself out of trouble, because it certainly sometimes does put itself in trouble. We've had some tremendous sets of 6 in defence to keep Bradford down in their own quarter line, and then let a penalty slip in to let them off the hook. So it was good to see those tries come in, because we deserve to be where we are now.
And we said right at the start of the programme, didn't we, about Dion Bird. It looks as though we've put the hex on the poor lad, because every time he touches it, he drops the thing, doesn't
Yeah, unfortunately that happens. But yeah, I think there's been a few of the passes have been a bit hard and a bit too hard to catch, and a bit awkward for him. So hopefully he can get his mind back on the game, because he's a great player, Dion.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason, we'll make you a promise. When you return to the side after your injury, we'll leave you alone. We won't talk about you. We'll only talk about this fella, because that's what it's all about. Steve-O, tremendous fight back at the end of that first half.
Yes, I think Palace really will be kicking themselves, because Bradford, as we saw in the first 10-15 minutes, they look completely lost. It's not the Bradford Bulls that we've seen so far this season. And it was so close with Priddle, who went very, very close indeed early in this match. And this really could have come up for the try, because the Bradford defence, they were just hanging back. It looks as though they're on a Sunday afternoon stroll. Well, I can assure you, it's not going to be easy here. Now, this was the intercept. It was a little bit of luck, but you must always blame the player who turns his back. Look at that. Olsznik back to the defence. Full credit to Cook. Showed plenty of pace there. Nothing that Fabian De Vecchi could do about that. It's all about taking your chances. We keep saying it, but it is. And Cook took the gamble and make on it. But then the man who perhaps has been carrying Bradford through bad passages for many, many a year. Look, when you see here the defence, just roll it on a little bit there. There's 4 defenders. Hold it. There's one going back. He comes across. Lowe's realises that. He's got all the speed. He really does read a game well. It was on the last tackle. It's a power play. He did it again just before half-time. They didn't score on that occasion, but it's the only 3rd occasion that is run from dummy half. Well, here's a kick through, but when you do this, you've got to make sure that your full-back is in a good position. Anything can occur. There was no sweeper, which you don't usually expect, but good work, though, by Wayne Singh. He knew that he didn't have the legs, but boy, this lad did. Look at him go there. Auckland tried to get back to him. Well, he gave the first try to Cook, but he's certainly come up with trumps there. But what a try. It is, as Eddie mentioned, one of the best you will see for many a day. Keeping the ball alive. It was a wonderful pass by the second rower, Wayne Singh. He really got things going. Good work there by Tony Wall. Through the dummy,
fullback Diveci and Oljanik in for a tremendous try. It's all about supporting the man carrying the football. That is exactly what they did, and I can assure you the crowd, they really stood to that. It has set this game alight. They are not out of it by a long way.
But I can tell you that the one man in the studio who was watching that and smiling all the way as Oljanik went over was our guest Jason Martin. That was quality, wasn't it?
That was a great rugby league try, and it shows just what class we do have in the side. We just need to gel a bit more. If we can come out in the second half, cut out the mistakes, and make Bradford really work, it's going to be a really good game.
I wonder what Matthew Elliott is saying in the dressing room now, Steve-O, because I rather fancy that there's a little date, a fortnight hence, that is at the back of their mind.
Well, they may have what we often refer to as Wembley-itis. They may have Twin Towers running around in their minds, but I can assure you, if we didn't have this music going on, I think we would probably hear what Matthew Elliott will be saying to his charges in there, because they were very lethargic, especially in the first 20 minutes, and he will give them the biggest kick up the backside. They are the team that is leading the Super League competition, and he will tell them, you go out and prove that you are the best in Super League, and I think we may find that this second half.
Candidates for man of the match, I wonder if you've spotted any in the first half. If you have, the telephone number's there for you to ring. We'll be giving you the cue when, during the course of the second 40 minutes that's on its way now. And you could win the mini TV set if you pick the man of the match correctly and your name comes out of our computer. That's the number to ring. We'll tell you when during the second half. We've got a half-time score for you coming in now from the Stoop, and it's London 18, Salford 12. London 18, Salford 12. Half-time at the Stoop. Well, they've got a decent match at the Stoop by all accounts, but what a match we now have here at the Charlotte Stadium. A game that really Bradford had in their pockets. Even though they weren't playing well, they were leading by 14 points to 0. Then a couple of pieces of Paris magic from Jamie Oljanik. And Paris Saint-Germain are back in this in a big way. 8 points to Paris, 14 to the Bulls, second half on its way. Stay with us.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me.
Life didn't get any better than this for the mud teenagers of Bongobon. Until one day, something orange rather than brown entered their lives. See, things are looking up already. Now things are really looking up. Hey, nice wife. Hey, nice drink.
Hey, nice skin.
You could say the mud teenagers' attitudes have changed somewhat. If posing was an Olympic sport, these guys would be gold medalists. Fanta, welcome to the world.
Relax. Learn to improve your memory. You've been forgetting to send me your galaxy swirls, but you can't forget their chocolate and caramel. You remember how I love them. You remember where to send them. See the swirl. Remember. See a roundabout. Remember. See water swirling in your bath. Remember. And go to the shop and buy galaxy swirls for me. New galaxy caramel swirls. Give in. Don't forget to wear a towel.
My neighbor has kindly invited me to France with his charming family. I said, let's go by Eurostar, it's so easy. But he decided it would be more fun to drive the whole way.
Visit Paris from only £69 return.
The cream of Premiership football talent will gather at Anfield for a game which could decide the destiny of the title. Quite simply, the most competitive, the most passionate clash between the nation's most successful clubs. United will be looking for a double over their deadliest rivals, but Liverpool know nothing short of a win will suffice as they bid to end a 7-year title drought. Ford Football Special, Liverpool v Manchester United, Saturday at 11, live on Sky Sports 1.
Coming up, Sky Sports 2, Sunday morning at 10:30, San Marino and Superbikes round 2 from Misano, the home of Ducati. Britain's Carl Fogarty is currently lying second. Here at the Charlotte Stadium, we have now Super League, live and exclusive. Paris against Bradford, and Bradford just shading it at half-time by 14 points to 8. Jamie Olsznik coming back and scoring 2 tries in 8 minutes that have really set us up for a very interesting second 40 minutes. The statistics from this match, the penalty count is all square at 4 apiece, and Paris have had the better of the possession, 52% to 48%. They've made 11 missed tackles, they've made 12 runs from dummy half compared to 10, but look at the clean breaks that Bradford have made, 11 to 4. They will have to tighten up there, Paris Saint-Germain. Handling errors all square 2 at 8 all. And total metres gained, well, Paris have been doing well going forward, and 44 metres average in the sets of 6. Kick-off, second half's underway, ball bounces over the head of Danny Peacock, finds touch, first scrum goes down, head and feed, Bradford Bulls.
Be very interesting to see how the Bulls handle the first 10 minutes in this second half. Nothing that Peacock could do about that. But I get a feeling that they will start using the 2 forwards tight in and around the ruck area, and then the link. We haven't seen much from Tomlinson and Robbie Paul combining as yet.
Robbie Paul, of course, playing here his last match before he heads off to the other side of the world. There he is, Robbie Paul at dummy half. He's making his test debut for the New Zealanders against Australia in that Anzac Day test. Tomlinson's gone without the ball. It went backwards, says John Connolly. Play on.
Robbie Paul is down. He's injured. He's receiving treatment. And he doesn't look well, doesn't the boy?
Medley takes the tumble. Last tackle for Bradford Bulls. Tomlinson puts the ball into the air. Midfield bomb. Bradley gets the possession, but O'Connor's there to wrap him all up. That's held, says John Connolly, on the last tackle. Turnover.
Took it well there, Bradley, and the big Australian tried to con the referee. There were 2 French players around him, and Bradley just released it. And there's Robbie Paul back into the defensive line. Swinging arm. Lowe's and Bernard Dwyer involved there. You could see Lowe's made the first contact. Well above the shoulders. Good position by John Connolly to pick it out. Well, that's not what they want. His average at 31. Well, he's more than halfway there. So he's doing his work in defence.
Tony Wall grounded by Tahi Rihana. That was O'Donnell. Good driving run. Wayne Singh it was. He picks himself up. O'Donnell dummy half again. That now is Adam Peters. Quick play the ball. O'Donnell. And now Lomax.
Not the best pass from the skipper, David O'Donnell. It went to nobody.
He's in there again. There's Singh. Pops the ball up for Michael Hogue again. Last tackle for Paris now. O'Connor shapes for the kick. Just chips over the top of Ikoku. And a Paris player is scrambling behind him, and the Ikoku just had to pick the ball up and dive over the line.
Well weighted, this kick, and you could see that, well attended, but good play though by the big winger, Abi Ikoku. Spotted it well. Touched John. Now then, was someone taken out in the back play?
Well, the referee went first to give a penalty, tap on the 20-metre line, but he has now given the penalty against Paris Saint-Germain because the player, Bergman, was inside the 10 and was offside.
Well, that's confusing. It should have been a dropout from underneath the sticks to start with.
Well, that's what the touch judge was telling him, but in the end he said no, he will, as there was no advantage, he gives the penalty. They were his words.
Big hit from O'Donnell. Well, this is the incident. There's a kick over. Well, I don't think he's offside, but that's the only thing he could have given him, and there was no interference at all. And there's the skipper, David O'Donnell, losing a little bit of composure on this incident. It's a big hit. He really did get to him. He would have felt that.
Swinging arm from David O'Donnell. Another penalty, Bradford.
Well, that really has confused me, that last decision by the official.
Lowe's was the dummy half. Medley is the runner. Priddle was the tackler. 10 metres inside the Paris half with Tomlinson, and there now is Paul. He finds Peacock, who bursts on it at speed, and here's Cook, and Cook will score his second. Paul Cook gets his second try, just what Matthew Elliott would have ordered. Peacock, the man who injected the power, injected the pace, and the man outside him was Cook.
Talk about getting the ball out wide. Tomlinson, Robbie Paul in and out, and Peacock came from way back, hit the line. Once it made the break, the overlap was there. Quick hands by Tomlinson, but Robbie Paul in and out. Spoke about running across the face of the defence. He's done it there superbly. Cook support. That is a fine try. Well worked. You've got to squeeze the defence to you, and you'll see how Robbie Paul in and out. Watch how the defence goes through. You can see that Jamie Olgenick was pulled out. It created the overlap, and Cook had an easy run to the line. That was a well-worked move by the Bradford Bulls. Beautiful play by Robbie Paul.
Well, Paul Cook with the try, and now Paul Cook to try and improve matters. But I rather fancy that Paris will be just a little bit aggrieved by the fact that they believe they should have been up the other end, as Matthew Elliott watches on, the Bradford Bulls coach, as Cook prepares to take this conversion. Paris will be convinced they should have been up the other end, defending the dropout from underneath the Bradford posts. Referee John Connolly had other ideas, given 2 penalties in quick succession. Bang, they're up the other end of the field, scoring the try. Cook now just shaves the upright. Paris 8, Bradford 18.
Defence is hanging back. Robbie Paul sucks them in. Look at the beautiful run there by Peacock. Cook did the right thing. He timed his finish to perfection.
The score is
play on, says John Connolly. That's O'Connor. Takes the tackle from Tomlinson. O'Connor appeared to be grounded when he played that ball, but again it's play on. Bird. Good defence from Bradford. 3 tackles gone. They're only made 17 metres. They might make more now here with Hogue. Wall is dummy half. Penalty. Interference at the play of the ball. Bernard Dwyer, was it?
Yes. Well, at least he's been consistent as John Connolly on this situation. No messing around there. See the Peacock and Dwyer. Now, you're not allowed to do that. Once you hit the deck, you're supposed to roll away, not clamber up over the man.
So chances for Paris now with Wall. Dwyer, who conceded the penalty, gets the tackle in. Good run from Singh. He helps it wide to Lomax. Lowe's is there, Medley's there, and Wittenberg there also. Nice little run from Peters. O'Donnell dummy half. Gradually, they're working their way up the other end of the field. Ball tipped back inside. Nobody seems to want that. In the end, Matt O'Connor took control of the situation. Attacking down the blind with Priddle. He gets it to Peters.
Well, he's claimed his offside. Peters back on the inside, and you see Olgenick said he come from an offside position. Well,
looked okay for mine. The man ran in front of the Oljanik, so therefore he put him onside.
He says Oljanik was offside when they played the ball, and then he was offside again.
Obviously made no attempt to go back to the 10, but they were carrying the football.
Devetsi launches an attack with Singh now. Beg pardon, Dion Bird it is. Oh, Hogue hangs on. O'Donnell, dummy half. O'Donnell directing operations again. Priddle now. Spins in the tackle under pressure from Rihanna.
Well, he's the man, isn't he? Tony Priddle. He's the architect in the forwards. Can he come up with something? They really do need something now.
Good strong run that from Singh.
Palace side now have to really throw everything at them.
O'Connor, ball bounces. Play on, says John Connolly. The ball went backwards as Tomlinson dropped on the loose ball from the kick.
Wasn't the best kick either. You could see that Matt O'Connor perhaps would have been better served. Did definitely come backwards from Bradley. I'm just saying that may have been better served to put that ball high, get the runners running to them. Quite amazing. This is a game that has seen very little bombs. It's got to be a penalty.
Two men knock on.
Well, 2 men in attendance, and you can see that Paul Loughlin is saying, hang on, 2 men were coming to me, and the second man took the ball away. Quite clear. Well, Dion Bird for mine. Well, interfered.
The referee's given that. He said you grabbed the ball out of his hand, and Tahi Rihanna has got blood streaming from his nose, so he wants him in the blood bin. And he says it was one-on-one. John Connolly is explaining the decision now to the 2 packs of forwards. That's why he has put the scrum down for the knock-on against Paris Saint-Germain. Rihanna's all right, apparently. He stays on. Wittenberg's gone off.
All the Bulls now have to do is just calm things down, make sure they complete the 6, go back into the safety mode, get back into the swing of things.
Here's Anderson, who's just come on for Wittenberg. Scrappy play from the Bulls.
Well, they're losing the plot completely. They're trying to keep this ball alive. I've just mentioned that they've got to slow things down. Not the best pass by Anderson. And there, Lowe's is having a few words to say to Paul Anderson.
Well, no wonder he's breathing deeply. Matthew Elliott, the Bradford coach. Arguably, I would imagine that this is one of the worst displays his team have produced for him.
Extremely disjointed. We spoke before the game kicked off about how professional they are and how they make sure that they go through their sets of 6, control the football, but they failed to do that tonight.
Well, we've had 11 minutes here, and it's 18-8. After 20 minutes of the second half in London, the Broncos are ahead 26-12 against Salford. So Salford, after having started with 5 straight wins, are now suffering their 2nd straight defeat in Super League, if the scoreline stays as it is. Here at Charlotte, Paris Saint-Germain have had 5 straight defeats in Super League. They are desperate for a victory.
Another hard pass there, saw the centre, Jamie Oljanik, failed to take the ball. They really are firing the passes out. It was Wall who sent it out really fast indeed. They've had the chances.
This was a turnover. The knock-on was on the last tackle. So he brought it back to where the knock-on occurred. There was no advantage to Bradford to play it from where he was. Bradley. The call was from Loughlin outside him. Penalty against Paris. More than a one-man tackle. Stealing the ball, not allowed.
2 men in attendance there. Jeremy Robinson. Well and truly older the player. Well, surely the Bulls will now try to tighten it up, get the forwards working and running onto the football. And when are we going to see a good link? Tomlinson and Robbie Paul have not combined tonight at all.
Maybe they will now. That's Tomlinson. This, though, is Dwyer. Priddle in quickly. So too Michael Hogue. Lowe's. Back to Bradley. Bradley. The referee says play on, even though Bradley ran into the back of Glenn Tomlinson. And Bradley is halted 5 metres short of the Paris line. This is Lowe's. Here's Tomlinson. Pops the ball back up into the arms of Spruce. Spruce with strength. Peacock puts one down.
Too many cooks spoil the broth. 2 on hand. Good work by Spruce. Could see there was somebody there. And Peacock and Robbie Paul said it's mine. In the end, finished up nobody's. Panic football.
So here come Paris again. That's Hogue, met though by Bernard Dwyer. Now Matt Singh. Good tackling there by Anderson.
It's a good job. This Bradford defence is pretty solid. It's one area that I'm sure that their coach Matthew Elliott will be pleased with.
Penalty. Well,
somebody's
Adam Peters
gotta go.
milked that, and there was chatting back to referee John Connolly, another 10 metres.
He's got to do something about this now. It's gone beyond the joke. Surely must call both captains together and said, any more, 10 minutes in the sin bin. There's Bradley, pretty close to his average already. It shows you the amount of work. Not surprising, really, with Paris Saint-Germain having a lot of the possession.
Now, Lomax, Olejnik rather, loses it, a knock on.
Well, they're claiming it went backwards. It was a big hit. They were driving him through, and I think you could see quite clearly that he'd lost control. Peacock driving the football in. Bernard Dwyer had his arms out, indicating to the referee that he certainly wasn't involved in trying to reef the football out.
On comes Simon Knox for the Bradford Bulls, and Tahi Rihana is the man who takes a spell on the bench. Oh, that's an intercept. Easy walk-in try for Robinson. The pass went out wide. I think it was Tomlinson who flicked the ball out wide, and Robinson. Cook accepted a gift earlier. Robinson does likewise at the other end.
Now then, was he onside? Did he get a jump on the referee? He's not happy. That guy is, though. Read it well. He set off very early. But you could see it was an eternity of the pass. That really was suicide, but let's take nothing away from this guy. He took his opportunity, just like Cook did in the first half. Bang. He certainly got off to a flyer. Was not spotted by the referee, John Connolly. Now, he was onside, his foot was back. He really went for this. But you could see how Glenn Tomlinson took an eternity to position himself to get the long ball out wide. Well, I've been calling for them to get it out wide, but not like that.
Tony Wall's now kicking, and Tony Wall has found the mark this time. And Paris are back in it again. They will not lie down. 14-18. They're running Bradford Bulls close here, as they have done many times this season.
There he is, and the ball has been played, so that is wonderful positional play by Robinson. He picked it out well. The few seconds it took for that ball to have been played, he took that one step. Good thinking.
Well, they won't go away, will they, Paris Saint-Germain? And Peter Mulholland, although these pictures of the coaches usually just offers no clue as to what's going through their mind, I think that maybe he is the more satisfied of the two coaches. He will be if they get the win. But Matthew Elliott, every time we've seen him, he's looked stern, disgruntled, and he's breathed a bit deeply. He looks a bit fed up, to be fair.
He sure does. Under a lot of problems, under a lot of pressure. And it's going to take something special now for Bradford to take control of this. And who's it going to be? Robbie Paul has looked out of sorts all throughout tonight. That's a good kick by Tomlinson. That will steady the ship. And it needed to be. Right into space. No one at home. That could be the little piece of magic that will steady the ship. That's his first in general play. He normally does a lot of kicking. His average is 7 and 8, I think, per game this season.
Well, it's amazing when you consider that Paris have missed 3 kicks from Jeremy Robinson. 1 was certainly kickable, 2 were way out wide. But had they gone over, Paris would now be ahead. They will be encouraged by this.
Well, if they can get very close, this crowd will absolutely go bananas. They'll try to go. Big hit by Anderson.
Yes, Wall felt that. This is Priddle again. Leads by example, the big Aussie, didn't he? The kick is from O'Connor. Huge kick downfield. Is that you, Steve-O?
Beg your pardon. Great play. Good kick. He said he's offside. In front of the kicker.
Fabian De Vecchi. A little bit too quick for referee John Connolly's liking.
Well, it appeared okay. Not surprised that the crowd wasn't too impressed with that. Oh, he's lost that. Let's play on.
No, it's a penalty. Ball stolen. Well, referee John Connolly is starting to incur the wrath of the Paris supporters. And, I fancy, Mr. Mulholland.
Well, there certainly was an arm in there.
Yes, there was interference.
Adam Peters was actually 17. Michael Hogue, the second rower. That.
But was
it
that
a one-on-one? Yeah, one-on-one, perhaps. There's Hogue pulling the ball away before the man has touched it. But let's not be too critical, really.
It's milliseconds.
We are slowing it down, and it's pretty difficult for the whistleblower. I'm not going soft, Eddie.
I'd be amazed if you did.
Knock on. Well, these two coaches must be wondering what on earth has happened to both those sides. There's a good tackle there. You can see Robbie Spall's right hand had a second grab of it, and that's why it was a knock on. Well, he really has been out of sorts, hasn't he? We have not seen any of the jinking runs.
Well, who is your man of the match? It's time for you to have your say on the big debate. 0891 66 55 25. Vote now, and you could be a winner also on Sky Sports tonight. Vote now. We are inviting your calls for the man of the match vote. I wonder who has taken your eye. 14 handling errors from the Bradford Bulls. Not their usual lock-safe performance, this. But Paris are growing in confidence. Wall, and there's 6 more tackles to go. Bradford player touched that in flight. O'Donnell gets the pass away. And that is Adam Peters. He picks himself up. They're starting to believe in themselves. Paris Saint-Germain. Lomax, dangerous stuff. He's carrying the ball one-handed.
This is a good play by Paris. They're just driving it through, hoping to just make that chink in the Bradford defence. Nothing fancy.
Again.
There's nothing fancy about it. But they're making the meterage forward.
Here's O'Connor. Just pops it into the arms of Robinson. He's all wrapped up by Tomlinson.
Surely they'll go for the kick.
It's the last tackle. Singh, no, they're running it again. And caught in possession, Adam Peters.
You could see that the substitute, Adam Peters, looked to the touch judge and said, "What's happening? Tell you what's happening, son. You run on the power play and didn't know it." Well, the lack of composure. 2 from Bradford. That's the first one from Paris, when really they should have opted for the kick.
Anderson. Good tackle by Priddle. Gets through a ton of work, the big Paris prop forward. Paul out wide to Lachlan. He's grounded.
Good tackle by Bird. In it again as well. You could see Bird came in high, made sure there was no pass. Could be turned away.
Last tackle, that's a midfield bomb. Robbie Pauls after this. Ikoku catches it, and he had a foot in touch.
There it is. Before he released the football. Well spotted by the touch judge. Well, this is going to be a big fight to the end. There's still plenty of time.
There is.
But as you mentioned, Eddie, this Paris side are gaining in confidence. We may think it's one-out football all the time, but they know they've got plenty of time. There's no need to rush. Oh, clash of heads there. Bernard Dwyer caught one.
Ball comes loose again. Here's O'Connor. O'Connor back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell to Hogue. He gets it away to O'Donnell again. And Tomlinson drops on the Paris captain. Robinson, out wide it goes. That was De Vecchi. Further out wide to Bergman, and he's wrestled into touch by Abi Ikoku.
Did well, did Ikoku there. Was not going to be sucked in. Made sure that Phil Bergman had only one option, that was go on the outside. And as all wingers know, the touchline is one of your best friends.
So scrum goes down, and it's Ikoku who gets the possession.
Runs from dummy half, that's what's needed now.
Here now is Spruce, pops the ball up to Peacock, not forward, play on. We have a score from the Stoop, 42-12, London are ahead, and Sean Edwards has got a hat-trick for the London Broncos, and that's taken him to 300 career tries. There's another interception here, a chance for Paris once again, and it's Dion Bird who scores. The scores are level. Dion Bird, we picked him out earlier on tonight. He came up with a couple of blunders second half, but that's another interception try, and Matthew Elliott's seen enough. He's going down to the touchline, and he's going to pass instructions from down there, but Dion Bird levelled it.
Robbie Paul, the man who's the culprit. You can see they were stood around, long ball out wide, one of the few occasions that Tomlinson and Robbie Paul have got together. It was a good tackle by Jeremy Robinson that ricocheted the ball out. Perhaps a fine pass would have beaten this man, but no. Dion Bird raises the left arm. You'll see how the impact of the tackle made sure that the pass wasn't completed correctly. And Dion Bird, who's in fine form. Oh, the crowd are loving this. I don't think that the Bradford Bulls coach, Matthew Elliott, will be joining in the celebrations.
How big's this kick from Tony Wall? If he kicks this, Paris go ahead for the first time. They're getting behind him, the Paris supporters. Here it is. He's missed it. Well, what a moment to come up with a miss like that. Tony Wall knows. Look at him, he looks to the heavens. It's 18-all at Charlotte. Bradford Bulls have never lost under Matthew Elliott. But at 18-all, anything can happen. A strain telling on the face of the Bradford coach.
And also a strain on the Paris side. Remember, Oldham and Salford. 1 point wins over the Paris Saint-Germain side. What a climax, what a finish. You can see there's still plenty of time. This game is available for which team? The team who wants to settle down into their game plan. Do not rush, do not panic, and work hard. That's what's needed.
Penalty against Paris, who have scored 4 tries to 3. But the penalty count against them is mounting. Knox taking on O'Donnell, and he was too high.
Very high. Lack of discipline there, especially from the skipper. You expect a little bit more than that. Bit of frustration creeping into David O'Donnell's game.
McNamara comes on for Glenn Tomlinson. This is Paul Medley. Bradford driving in towards the post. Remember, twice on Sky Sports we've seen Paris go down to a one-pointer. That's Peacock. He's looking for 4. He's held 10 metres short of the line. Lowe's gives it to Medley. Medley, it's desperate defence now from Paris. They're so close. McNamara just on. And he's held up. He's held, say Paris. And Bradford say he's got it down. And the referee, John Connolly, hands it on for the first time tonight to the video referee.
Went pretty close. Now that's the ball carrying arm there on the left. He goes over the top. And I think you'll find that Dion Bird gets underneath it. But did he get over the in-goal area? I think they stopped him in the field of play. Now it's interesting this, because that will mean if he is over and held up, then it'll be a scrum feed and head to the Bradford Bulls. But did Paris Saint-Germain stop him? No doubt he didn't get the try, and I think he was pushed back into the field of play.
Well, I think he is back in the field of play, and if that's the case, the tackle count will just restart for the attacking side, i.e. Bradford Bulls. That's the rule this season.
Well, I'm glad that Connolly has gone for the screen on that.
Matthew Elliott watching on. It's a big call, this. So too Peter Mulholland. He can't wait for the decision. Here it is. No try. Paris breathe a sigh of relief. Last tackle for the attacking side, Bradford Bulls. Last one. Now then. Bradley with a kick for the corner, looking for Paul Cook. Paul Cook is there. He's got it this time. That's a hat-trick if that's a try. The referee's not happy. He wants to go to the screen, does he? Has a word with the touch judge. Not sure is the call. Let's make sure, says John Connolly. We'll hand it on to the video ref. Paul Cook is already celebrating.
Oh, wow. He's lost it. He has lost it. There's no downward pressure. Control downward pressure. Well, it was a beautiful kick there by Graham Bradley, but you can see that Cook has overrun it. There is no downward pressure. He's lost it there. There's no control at all. Now, from the head on, it looks as though his forearm's there, but there, side on, you can see he's lost it completely.
Well, McNamara, I can tell you, is lining up for the conversion attempt to come. But what's the decision of the video referee? Paul Cook's waiting. We all are. Another big call. No try. Peter Mulholland. Well, no wonder he's smiling. Matthew Elliott isn't, but the decision from the video ref was spot on. They've escaped twice, Paris Saint-Germain, in consecutive plays.
Well, what pressure the Paris side have had to endure then. 2 video replays. Who on earth would be a coach? The pressure, not only preparing the team, but having to sit there and watch those 2 video replays. But full credit to John Connolly. He didn't panic. They've got the video screen there. He used it, and good luck on the guy.
Hogue goes off. Bellamy comes on for Paris. Fresh legs for the last 10.5 minutes. Well, what a finish we've got in store here. It's 18 points all again. And let's go down to the pitch side where Bill has the injured Jason Sands with him.
Sitting high up in the stand at Charlotte Stadium with Jason Sands, and this is a nail-biting finish for PSG, isn't it?
I think I'm sick of it. Every time we're on Sky TV, we've got the nail-biting finish. So I think hopefully the luck will go our way this time.
Yeah, previous form has been that somebody pops over a drop goal in these closing stages. What are your feelings about this one?
Hopefully the drop goal will come from us, although I'd like for us to score a try. I think we've got them in attack. It's just a few things have gone against us.
Good strong run from Nkoku. Last tackle. Will Bradford, I was going to say go for the power play, or will they elect for the kick? They elect for the kick. And Bergman does well.
Good thinking there, Phil Bergman. Instead of hanging around and thinking that he'd defused the bomb, 1 foot was, he defused it.
He came from the field of play, didn't he?
Started from in, well spotted there, but good work by Phil Bergman.
Well, he waited for the whistle, didn't he? He was not coming, and he crawled out.
He didn't, he just crawled away. He thought, well, I better get out of here.
Well, we've got candidates now for man of the match, and we're inviting your calls. 0891 66 55 25. And this match is not over yet. Surely, lightning, I said at the start of the programme, lightning doesn't strike twice, does it? Does it strike 3 times? Are Paris going to lose for the 3rd time by a single point? Or are they going to come up this time with the win? And the league leaders in Super League, Bradford Bulls, have been given a real fright here, no matter what happens in the next 9 minutes.
Good defence, they're really into it, but oh, David O'Donnell, he's going very close to the mark. That was a near high one.
Bradley now for the Bulls. Gets the pass away. Lowe's takes it over. Lowe's looks for support. There it is from Cook. Cook to Robbie Paul. Robbie Paul gets the try. Are the Bulls going to get out of jail? And believe me, jail it most certainly is.
Well, he's a relief man, isn't he? But good work there by Lowe's. From the dummy half position, the combination. Here's a little bit of a step. He worked hard. Cooked it well. He came in from the wing to support. Back on the inside. Well, he's been quiet for most of the game, but when it counts, he comes up with a good one. Bradley offloads. Lowe said, let's get out of here. It was a neat step. There was nothing that Tony Prittle could do. Cook did ever so well. He's had a fine game, Paul Cook. For the winger to come in from the touchline and create. This is Bradley's release of the football. But what skill from James Lowe and also from Cook. Robbie Paul, not seen throughout this game all that much, but when it counts, he comes up trumps.
A vital try and a vital kick coming up for Steve McNamara, back on the field. Bang in front. 3 from 3 for McNamara. And the Bulls suddenly have a 6-point lead.
Transformation réussie pour les Bulls.
You can see there's 2 tired defenders there. They're hanging back, they're not moving forward. See how they're just standing around. And when the ball was popped up, the defence was completely all at sea. Down the middle, when really the strength should have been. Nobody filled in. But that was a fine try. Good support play.
Well, I tell you what, the Paris side have rattled a few cages this year already. And they have taken Bradford Bulls all the way down to the wire here in Paris tonight. Ikoku goes off and Nathan Graham comes on. Ball is free and Medley says thanks, I'll have it.
Well, the mistakes is really coming along now.
And this is Bernard Dwyer. 6 minutes to go. 6 points the difference. Robbie Paul again. The difference between winning and losing pay. Paul! 2 tries. Robbie Paul gets his 2nd try in 3 minutes. And that surely now is curtains for a brave Paris side. And Robbie Paul, the difference between winning and losing.
Nice call on the blind side. 2nd effort, you can see there, he brushed off 1 man, went through 3. Good call on the blind. The defence hung back. You can see Oljanik went too high. He has paid the price, but this had to be scored. Wonderful finish by Robbie Paul. 2 pictures of magic. Spins out of the tackle. Great effort. Boy, they've escaped, and they know it.
Captain's effort from the Bulls skipper, Robbie Paul, in the New Zealand squad for that Anzac Day test in Sydney on April the 25th. This is probably his last game before the Cup final, and he's come up with 2 late tries that have surely now sealed Paris's fate. If the tries haven't, the kicks from McNamara most certainly have. Bradford have built a 12-point lead in the last 4 minutes of this match.
Well, you look at that scoreline and you feel that the Bradford Bulls have had full control of this match throughout, but it has not been that way.
McNamara, Steve, by the way, now through 100 points for the season already.
Good effort by the youngster there.
But Steve, they have come very strong again, haven't they? Bradford Bulls at the end.
Well, they've slowed things down, but they really have struggled. And we pointed to the defence. That's been the major thing that's kept them in this match. They've allowed the Paris side to come back in, but the defence has been quite solid at times.
Big effort from Paris. Bradford have had to dig deep here. They were on the end of a shock result, perhaps. but Robbie Paul's 2 tries have put paid to any thoughts like that. He's worked hard, O'Connor, on his home debut.
Well, his kicking game has been superb. As you say, he's worked hard, but it's amazing how you can put the mocker on people. No sooner do we go down to the sidelines, speak to Peter Mulholland, who said, I'll settle for a 1-pointer, but I would like a try. Bradford come up with 2. It can be a weird and wonderful game, rugby league at times.
And 2 tries, of course, called out correctly, by the way, by the video referee. Here he goes again. Robbie Paul. What a talent. Ball out wide to Peacock. Less than 3 minutes to go to the end of this match, a match that Paris and their supporters must have thought they had won, and another crowd of approaching 10,000 inside Charlotte Stadium. They keep rolling up. That's a forward pass.
Good positioning by Connolly there. Anderson trying to force the pace, and at 30 points to 18 with less than 3 minutes remaining, I suppose you can't blame him. Definitely forward, but there have been patches within this game that would not have pleased both coaches, especially the Bradford coach.
Two minutes to go. Bradford maintain Super League's only 100% record at the top of the table, and Matthew Elliott stays undefeated now after 10 games. London have blitzed Salford 48 points to 12. We heard that Sean Edwards grabbed a hat-trick in that match. Salford, their bright start, has suddenly come tumbling down around their ears, beaten twice now this week, once by St Helens and now by London Broncos. Here in the French capital, Bradford Bulls have weathered the storm, and they're just playing out time now at 30 points to 18 ahead. A brave effort, as we say, a disjointed performance from Bradford. The problem with Bradford is, Steve, we've come to expect such quality from them from start to finish.
Well, I think their coach will have a few words to say to them. We mentioned at half-time that maybe Wembley is on a few of the players' minds, but very relieved there, Mr. Noble and Mr. Elliott. Time for a smile. All the endeavour by the Paris side has come to naught.
Well, it's time to smile now, but he wasn't smiling until Robbie Paul went over for his 2 tries.
Well, that was great work there by Phil Bergman. They just stood there and watched him as he dropped on the ball when Bradford won possession.
Ball out wide. Looking for support. Bird only gave it straight into the arms of Lachlan. Well, we've seen some interceptions tonight, haven't we? We've had 3 tries from interceptions. Bergman has returned, as you see there, for O'Connor. 20 seconds to go now. The match is all over. Bradford have got it won. They will stay out in front in the race for Super League 97. But Paris will take great heart from this. Referee has stopped the clock with a couple of seconds left for play. It's a knock-on against Lowe's, and the scrum will go down. Head and feed to Paris.
Well, that was silly play there by James Lowe's. He had plenty to say right in front of the referee. There's only seconds remaining. Just keep your mouth shut.
So Paris will play out this last move of the match. Will they get some reward for their enterprise and endeavour? They're keeping it alive. They know it's time up. And this is the substitute Bellamy. He's clobbered by Knox. There's the siren. Bradford have won. They stay top of the league. It's been a real old battle, and there's the man who has turned it Bradford's way. Their captain, Robbie Paul, on his farewell appearance before taking part in the Anzac Day Test, 12,000 miles from home. Robbie Paul has picked up 2 tries and has won the game for Matthew Elliott and the Bradford Bulls. Not the most convincing display from them, but Bradford remain unbeaten at the top of the table, 100%. It stays intact. Coming next, we name the man of the match. Who will he be?